Yes, so a good question came up on the value equation. Satisfaction of need, use of customer resources, but how do you know how much value you create? So, sometimes you cannot calculate the number here, right? But you can take all these 6 levers of value and you can compare how you're doing against competitors. You can often have a preference scale. So you can say that I do like bananas more than apples. And this is what you can do if you don't have anything else and want to do the analysis on the 6 drivers of the value equation. You define a customer for students in Uppsala. It's a little bit better on these things and a little bit worse on these things. So I'm better on some things and worse on some. That is usually the case. But if you don't have the value analyzed, you don't know if you're better at the things that matter to the customer. It's okay to not be the best if you have the right customer and what you're not as good at, they don't care so much about. So with the competitive analysis that you do by quantifying the functions and comparing to benchmark, you can see how you're doing and if you have higher value. But the value equation and the 6 drivers explains why you have higher value for a specific target customer. Without it, you will just do what's called a Christmas tree product, and you try to be better on things that are not meaningful, just because the other manufacturers are having better performance. So you just do more and more and more and more, and that will drive the costs, but not the value. So what do you do? Well, you list all the functions, and you can list them in order of importance for the customer. So like the most important ones first, you have usually 1 main function, maybe 2. If you have more, maybe you have too wide definition of what the customer is. So a product like this has lots of functions. But for a given customer, maybe there should be 2, maybe 3 main functions, not like 15. And then the additional functions that you can have money, and then underside functions, hopefully not too many, but you have to think about whatever function starts with the user as a function provider is usually an unwanted function. And then effects on the environment. And then support functions, usually the biggest category. There's a lot of things going on, especially in technical products that are not visible for the end user in terms of need satisfaction that I get. Then you look at the alternatives. So I put in 3 here. So one thing is the rival product. Rival product has the same need, same function, same solution. So it's exactly the same, right? If I'd sell power drills, that would be the other brand of power drills. Then we have the market alternative. Has the same need and the same function. So the need is to hang something on the wall, and the function is making a hole for the plug and the screw. So that could be anything that can make holes that the customer is using today. And then the market alternative is what they use today. The product alternative is what some other innovative company or entrepreneur might come and propose to them. So whenever you make a product, we need to explain how is this one better than what you're doing today, which you can if you've done the analysis on how on their needs we perform and the others perform, using, if we can, quantitative numbers. But also you have to understand that they will get other offers. Others will come and try to sell stuff. And you need to prevent it or preempt their arguments by saying, I know also that you might be looking on the laser drill from Bosch, but ours is much safer and it's also easier to use for people that don't have a special education. Right? So you point out their unwanted functions. And you show also that with our drill, you can do it faster, better, etc. Less effort. You have to have these 3 when you meet the customer and try to sell them your innovative product. If you have 4, you'll decrease your chances of getting a yes, getting the sales. It's just a psychological thing. We don't like too many options. If we get 2 options or 4 options, we're not as likely to buy as if we get 3 options. So we'll get them 3 options, but we'll do the comparison so our option is the obviously best one. Now, we can see that we are better or worse. We might not be better on everything. Usually we're not. But then we can go back and maybe we choose another customer, or we change the technical solution and so on until we find a good place to be. And, you know, if you do a deep customer analysis like the design thinking work you're going to do tomorrow, you probably increase your chances of success if you really observe them using design thinking or the methods in the book that talks about value modeling. You might increase that from 40 to 50 or 40 to 60 or something. It is better, you know, you have better chances of doing the right design choices. But if you go into the functions, you can compare how you are positioned compared to the other options and the competition. And maybe you go from 40 to 50 and then 60 and 70. And this is not included in any of the other innovation frameworks that we looked at in the beginning of the course. Well, except maybe Blue Ocean. That is really looking at competition from the eyes of the customer.
But we are not actually taking consideration of competitors' function. We are just comparing our function to their function.
Yeah, so if they have something that you don't have, it's going to be missed in the analysis. Yeah, I think you need to start what is relevant for the customer. And if they have something that you don't have, you should list it.
Where should we list it?
Yeah, you put it in the list here. But for you, the present value is your product. And you'll have to say, missing, we don't have it. Make like a warning sign. Yes. Another thing related to this, if we look at where we are good and bad, we can mark that with colors. And it's sorted in order of importance. You can do a SWOT analysis. If things that you're good at become more important, that's an opportunity. If things you're bad at become more important, that is a threat. That should set off an alarm that this really needs to be addressed. Might be not so important today that we are weaker on this function, but in the future, it's going to be a more central customer requirement. So it goes into that analysis if you want to use it like that. So yeah, if we're on top, it's a strength. If we're below, it's a weakness. But if it changes, it relates to threat and opportunity. It's not a complete SWOT analysis, because a threat could be that a competitor buys another competitor and they become stronger and so on. That will not come into this. But from the product analysis point of view, you can use it. Yeah, so add things based on what's relevant for the user, even if it's missing in your particular solution. Don't sweep it under the rug, as they say.